said, Amanda and myself. And then we have two folks that work in our office that help keep us organized and keep us all things moving that way. But we do serve all 99 counties. And here you can see on the screen is the map of how our coaches are split up. So we mirror the child care resource and referral regions. So if you're familiar with your child care consultant, we have those same regions that we're split up in. So we have coaches that serve all counties in Iowa, and we work with registered home providers and licensed centers across the entire state. So with our program, Child Care Collaborative of Iowa, our main goal is to guide child care programs to improve financial practices and optimize resources that benefit children, families, and their business. So we kind of look at this whole aspect of how we can support that and what that looks like. So how we do that, we like to say that we are a bundle package because when you sign up to be part of our program with the Child Care Collaborative of Iowa, you get to work with a financial management coach, like Tiffany, who did our introductions across the state. You get access to that coach. You also get access to a child care management system. Right now, the state of Iowa is paying for that child care management system, which is super exciting because it's great to get something for free. And then you also get access to a technology grant up to $1,000 to support your child care management system to implement that. Your coach will also help with other business strategies, being able to support your business, looking at those family communications and enrollment strategies as well. So what is a child care management system? Some of you might be familiar, some of you might not be. So a child care management system is a software product specifically designed to help child care providers automate their day-to-day practices. So we know that most of us did not get into childcare to run the business side of things. We got into childcare because we love kids. We love working with kiddos and the families and being able to do that. So if we can help kind of take some of that day-to-day automation or day-to-day tasks and help automate that, that's kind of where we come in and support you with using this childcare management system. So here is a graphic about all of the things a child care management system can do. And there's a lot on here because there's a lot that a child care management system can help you do throughout the day. One of the big things that happened when this program first launched in 2022 was that the state of Iowa and the child care management systems were able to make a data bridge and connect KinderTrack system with the child care management. So what that means is that if you accept child care assistance in your program, you're using one of the state identified child care management systems and parents are signing in and out through the management system, that automatically connects to KinderTrack. So no longer do you have to go to the KinderTrack system and type in attendance. You're able to automatically connect to that. So that's one really big exciting thing that helps you with your time during your day if you are accepting childcare assistance. The management system does a variety of other things as well, including attendance and documents, keeping documents, billing, keeping track of your child attendance, and also family communication, which we'll touch on in a little bit. We'll have a couple of our coaches pop on and show you what the management system kind of looks like. So again, part of that bundle package is being able to use that management system. So in the state of Iowa, the state has identified Playground and Brightwheel as the two management systems that you can choose. You can choose between either. We do have a selection tool that Tiffany will put in the chat for us and will kind of help you decide, or when you're asking questions and interviewing the management systems, what's going to be best for you. And again, the state of Iowa is paying for that management system through June of 2026. The technology grant is to help implement your management system. So looking at items that you need for your program. So maybe it's a new laptop or desktop for your office. Maybe it's a tablet for your classroom to be able to communicate. Maybe it's a check-in station at the beginning or at the front of your program. Whatever kind of thing you might need to be able to implement the management system will help support you with that. Here we have just a quote from one of our providers, a licensed center out of Hamilton County, talking about the technology grant specifically. Helped us to modernize our services for our families and run a smoother operation. So if we can help you run a smoother operation and help you get things implemented quickly and easily, then you're able to kind of be able to hopefully have a better day and things run a little bit more smoothly. So some of the things about working with a financial management coach itself, here are some of the things that your coach might support you with. Looking at business policies, procedures, possibly writing those business policies. We really like to look at that cost of care. What is it really costing you to run your program and care for your kiddos in your program? Maybe you're looking at setting new rates or implementing a new rate structure. We can help think about that, organize that piece of it. We can also help support with budgeting, annual budgeting, and or maybe you're looking to do a big project or something in the future is coming up and you want to look at that specifically. We will help with that as well. We'll also support you with billing back to that integration to HHS. So making sure that you have that piece integrated and making sure you're not leaving any money on the table and really looking at that full fee collection to make sure that you're good to go. Here's another quote from one of our providers about talking about our FMCs, our coaches, being able to help us be a childcare center that can survive with all the help that they've provided. So we really are trying to be there for you and make sure that your program is successful is really some of the things that we like to do. So, like I said before, we also support families. So, by implementing a childcare management system into your program, it also helps the families that you serve. So, we live in quite a bit of an automated world anymore. Our parents are used to living on their phones and that kind of thing. So, being able to fill out paperwork digitally, they're used to do that. Being able to have billing for families easily set up is some of those benefits. And then both management systems do an excellent job of being able to have communication through the not only the app, but through for classroom teachers to be able to communicate with the parents as well. And here's a picture of actually an in-home provider that we work with that was able to get this whole setup with the kiosk and the tablet to be able to have a sign-in station specifically for parents to come in when they come in and then they're able to sign in to the program. So another quote that we have from our program using Brightwheel has helped us, our program to be more organized, communicate with parents easier, fill out that paperwork digitally, also saving that time on that childcare assistance. Super important and big time saver if you're accepting childcare assistance. We also support you and your staff, so both management systems are able to keep track of staff information similar to student information, so that sometimes can be beneficial if you're looking to kind of keep everything in one spot. Also, some resources of just being part of our program. We do have a business library that you're able to access, and actually anybody is able to access this library of resources. It is on our website. So you can access that. We'll make sure to get that in the chat as well. But they have just some general business topics, and we're usually adding information to that pretty often. If you're part of our program, we offer peer-to-peer sessions on not only business topics, but maybe childcare management system specific topics. We have also just implemented a tool or a training for specifically for our home providers for registered homes that are part of our program, using your child care management system for prep specifically. So we're on our third year of offering that training. And you do have to be part of our program to get that training, but it is HHS approved credit, and pretty excited about that. Here is a provider quote from a survey that we sent out in May, and love the support that I received, and I'd recommend it to every in-home childcare provider there are. So we like to say, sometimes we hear that I'm just a small program, it might not be beneficial to me, but even our in-home childcare providers have said that this is really beneficial to them and their program. So that's just a little bit about us and a little bit about our program. Next, we're going to have a couple of our coaches pop on and talk about the management system specifically. So Crystal Frank is one of our coaches who's going to talk about Playground, and be able to kind of just give a short overview. And then we'll have Mindy pop on and she'll give us a little bit of an overview about Brightwheel. And then we'll be able to open it up for questions if you have anything. So Crystal, I'll let you take it away.
Perfect, thank you. I am going to go ahead and share my screen. Everybody can see it, hopefully. All right, so as you sign in and once you've created your account, this will be the landing page that you will see whether you're a center administrator or a home provider. The dashboard looks the same for all. There are different settings that will navigate through. And I'm just going to start here because these are the essential pieces that you do want to have set up. So there are just your basic general settings, billing settings, scheduling, roles. So this would be if you are in a center and you have, say, someone that's in administration, someone that would be a lead teacher, a regular teacher, assistants, you're able to go in there and kind of modify some of those roles and responsibilities, as well as other emails when do you want notifications. But down at the bottom, I'll try to not scroll too fast so I don't hurt anybody's eyes. Down here is where you'd be able to indicate if you are a family or center. Um, Generally, once you toggle these on, the saves are automatic. So we'll go back and just kind of go do a brief summary through the main screen. So when you're in here, the main landing page is going to give you all of your children's name as well as their attendance status. Within Playground, there are these little gear boxes that allow you to toggle on different items that maybe you want to see. So what I had done for this is I just have the children's name, the classes in which they're enrolled, current class, because we do know sometimes we need to transition, the age of the child, and their attendance status. One thing about Playground is that if you need to do something for multiple children, if you click this box next to it, you'll notice this sidebar pops up. So if you needed to click a couple kids and you wanted to check them all in at the same time, there is a verification here saying this is what you're going to do, who is doing it, sign off. This is an added piece to Playground, but this would be for an infant. You could add certain questions to certain classrooms to be able to get this information, as you do for those children that are under 2. You need to document bottles, wellness checks as you come in, and you can create those for your own program. So underneath My School, this is where you will see your students, your guardians, the programs, your staff in different classrooms. So just going in here and clicking on a student, this is the student profile. So this is the basic information that Playground has built in here. You're able to modify this information, but so are the parents. And one of the things to encourage the parents to do is if this information is filled out, you can link it to the paperwork. Those are different pieces that the coaches can help walk through if you decide to be a part of our program and how that information can be stored. The same holds true if I were to find a parent if this information would be in there. This is especially helpful for the families that have multiple children. Knowing doing childcare before, I have 3 kids. This is all the same information minus their names and their birthdays. Why do I have to do it all? Can't you just copy it? There are changes per child. So if this is filled out, it's a great way to be able to do that. The classrooms, this is where you would be able to go in, create your classrooms, set ratios, and be able to keep track of where the kids are at and what kind of transition and staffing you may need to do. Similar for the staff, the different roles that they have, what rooms are they assigned to, and kind of seeing where they are at. As you can tell, you can see that these fun staff members have all been invited, but no one is signed up to work. Or for the Playground app. There are a couple here that have, so they would be able to access Playground from their mobile sign-in. The next tab is billing. There are different pieces on here. There are the opportunities for logging online payments, offline payments. Playground has where you can do ACH or credit card fees and how that all works. And those are different pieces that can be walked to together, as well as fee approvals. So late fees, late pickup fees, anything that you may have that pertains to your program can be set up. They also have a subsidy piece as far as do you want to keep track of different payments that you've received that may not be associated with a child or for state. Those are a little bit bigger conversations, but the capabilities are there. Also, there is an expense kind of overview where you would be able to go in here, categorize, submit a receipt, upload that receipt, and go through the system as well as link it to your bank account. There is a spot for home providers if you're wanting to put your time space percentage in at the end of the year and export a report to categorize. The paperwork, as we talked before, there are different categories. As Rebecca had mentioned, that it's beneficial for not only the parents, but for administrators or home providers and putting those HHS required documents in here. There are the Iowa fillable documents located in Playground. You would be able to select any of these forms that you want to do, title it as you want. Do you want it to be reviewed? Add an expiration date. And this is where you can link different fields. As you can tell, I don't know if you can see it on your end, but there are little like linkage icons here. And that means it's going to pull that information from the student profile as well as from the guardian. But if you were to add something for a doctor dentist, you would be able to then fill that in here as well. Each form has its own setting. A preview for the parents shows what is in red, and those items are required. And those would all host in there. One additional piece I'm going to go back to real quick is on a child. If there is paperwork, it's going to tell you what paperwork was assigned to that child and what the status is on there. So that's great to know if someone's like, oh, I did all my paperwork, and you're like, nope, there may be something that might be missing. You can go back and touch base on that. There is a scheduling section on here. There's a calendar where you can put things on here if you want to share about a field trip, special events that you may have going on. And this is for administrators. The families are not at this time able to input schedules, but administrators could. And then you could go through and bunch your kids together, see where they're at for staffing purposes. So there is one for students as well as staff. Lessons, they do have a connection where they can toggle on the Iowa Learning Standards for you, and you can go in and create your lesson plans and different activities. I'm going to skip reports for just a second. Chat is where you'd be able to go in here and start a discussion with the parents or a group or a particular classroom. The feed is very similar to other social media platforms. So you can comment on here. You can say, hey, reminder, school's getting out early today, or fun pictures, or different things that you want to do, selecting those different types. The food program is not connected at this time with CACFP, but it does have a lot of the capabilities as far as putting in your meals, making sure that they follow the CACFP requirements. And there's a bunch of different settings within there, but these are different aspects that the coaches would be able to work with you on what's important for your program. Integrations tab is just simply, as Rebecca said, this is where you'd be able to go in, review the children's attendance that is in within the system, and then submit directly to KinderTrack. For the sake of the demo, we don't have an actual account because I'm not a provider. So we don't want to falsify and get accidentally submit anything, but the dates are preset in here for the pay periods that HHS has aligned. There's nothing in the future. And if it's a current period, it will tell you that it's disabled so that you don't accidentally submit before you're ready. The enrollment feature, yep, I don't want to save, is where you could start your enrollment process for the upcoming year or how you want to go through things, as well as tie paperwork to it, fees, contracts, and piece all of those things together. This is a great feature to have to take some of that returning of the phone calls or checking on the wait list or notifying parents on how things are going. This is a way to do it. But just as a basic overview, you'll be able to share a link. Families can apply. You'll get notice that they applied. When you want to move them, you can generate a letter or an email that will automatically go out and say, hey, Sasha's been moved to the wait list. Congratulations, these are the next steps, and go about doing that process for you. And then I'm just going to highlight real quick on reports so that we can have a discussion about Brightwheel. There are several different reports within Playground for all of the topics listed here, as well as the opportunity to create some custom reports. So are we looking to see when the birthdays are, or do we want to put in a special field and we want to know who lives in Polk County? We can run a report if we collect that data and information on the child's profile. Another piece is that it's fairly new, is that they have a search engine. So you're like, I cannot remember what that would be under. You could use a search type. I'm going to do guardian. And you're like, there it is. I wanted to collect guardian information. You'd be able to click that. If you click that report, just like your internet browser, you can, this little star will add it to your favorites. So now when I go back to the report land page, oh, there it is. And you don't have to continue to search. There are multiple different things. That was just the most brief. Just two more things is down here. There is a blue chat. So like if you're stuck on something, this is the support that you can generally get to fairly quickly if it's a simple question or how do you locate something. But once a program is onboarded underneath support, there are all sorts of different technical support people, but you would be assigned like an account manager and you'd be able to directly reach out to them on, hey, Amanda, how do I do these kinds of things? And they would be able to assist you along the way. There are a lot of other great features within Playground that can be implemented if it's what you want. So,
Thank you, Crystal. Mindy is now going to do a little overview on Brightwheel for us.
All right. So here is the home page of Brightwheel. It kind of shows you your current, all of your current rooms and ratios. And then it will also show you the daily logged activities, what has been logged for the kiddos. And it doesn't, that's it for that first page. But then the second tab is My School. It has your students, parents, rooms, calendar schedule, menu, and settings. I'm going to go to settings first because this is kind of where you get all set up. This is the first thing you would do for your school. Name your school, all your information in there. And then for your check-in, could print a QR code if you don't have a kiosk. This is where you can set your learning settings. They have Iowa Early Learning Standards in here. And then it gives you lots of options, digital signatures, quick scan, health screens where you can customize and ask those questions, payroll settings, and then all the way at the bottom is where you integrate your CCA and your kinder track. Then we'll go back up to students. Here is all of your students, not in any order. If you click on a student, on their page, you'll have their basic profile information. You can choose to collect all of these details. This is where their integration for that CCA, they each have to have their own number in there. Then up here, you can also see from this page every logged activity. So like when they were signed in and out and all the activities that the classroom has logged for them. There's also learning. That's where the Iowa Early Learning Standards or your lesson plans pop up. And each child has attachments. A physical is uploaded for this child, and you can add attachments yourself, or when we get down to paperwork, you can also request that the things be attached. You can request that a parent send in an immunization or physical, and you can add them here. And then each child would have a daily report. It'll be like an accumulation of all of the activities of the day, the moment they got there from when they left. And then your parent tab has each parent, it'll have the student first, and then whatever parents have been added and either invited. So like some parents have signed up, and then some, there's no info. It'll also ask you to remind if you have sent the invite. So it'll show like, because they're not going to get your information if they haven't signed up. So it's good to know who's actually clicked the link and who hasn't. Then there's family lists and approved pickups also under this tab. And then for your classrooms or your rooms, that's where this would be. So you can look at each classroom and open to see who's in there. It will list the staff that are assigned, and it will list the students that are in that classroom. Next is calendar, and this is kind of you can do your field trips or your special events here for everyone to see. And then schedules is for staff and students. So the staff are on top, have their hours in there, and then down below is the students. And then menu is just as it said. You can upload your menu or you can enter your menu. It'll save your food items. Once it's in there, it's in there. And then you can just, through the app, add whatever you had for whatever meal for parents to see. I know that when you put the menu in here, it looks great, but I've gotten feedback that when you try to print it, it doesn't look great. But at least you can get the meals in there and save it for that electronic piece. I know some of us like to have a nice little calendar looking meal thing. And then the next tab is messaging. That's how you can message parents, you can message staff, you can message one parent or all parents. But what's nice is if you message all the parents, when they message you back, it's just to you. So it's not like a huge group message. And then there's also announcements where you can post the announcement, but there's no replies. Like it's just going to be on there for everybody to see. And then newsletters, you can add and upload a newsletter for parents to see. And then the next one is billing. So this is your at a glance. It will show you your students and it'll show the past due balance, what's not due yet, if they have available credits, then what their overall account balance is, and then you'll have actions. Just from this screen, you can view their balance, you can log a payment from here, or you can even send a reminder. If you click on the student, that will give you more options. This is where you can look at their specific whole picture, and then there's more options. So like billing plans, one-time charges, logging a payment, changing a billing plan you already have created. You can see upcoming invoices, all their transaction statements, and all. under that tab. Subsidies is CCA, CACFP, all of those kinds of things for your record. Library, this is if you create a tuition charge or any charge, late fee, late pickup, it would save it here. So like before and after school care, you can set up a student billing plan starting from here, just because you have a huge before and after school care. Like it's just a place where it saves everything you've already done, so you don't have to keep creating them. I'm not gonna activating your account is when you get all set up and get your bank account set up with billing. So we won't go into that, but settings the same idea. And then expenses is that expense tracking piece. This is the big picture, your overview. You can link your bank account and you can enter all your expenses manually. There's nowhere to put in an overall time space, but you can add the percentage to a specific expense when you put it into the program. So that's kind of nice. And it will give you a profit and loss overall, just for you to have that visual. Great tax prep page. The next one is staff and payroll. This is where all your staff is, their roles, their status. They each have their own check-in code. And then trainings, time tracking, time off, and payroll. All in that tab. Learning. Brightwheel has curriculum, but it's an extra fee, the giant box up there. But you can also link Iowa Early Learning Standards. You can do your own activities and lesson plans and put them in here. It will create portfolios for you. Library, for anything that you put in here, it won't go away. So like if you put an activity in, it's going to stay here for the next time you want to do it, because you never just do an activity once. Especially if the kids like it, you're going to do it again and again and again. And then admissions, this dashboard is good for tracking that wait list and just keeping that organized. So if you know that someone has applied but you don't have space yet, you at least have them in the system to make it easier for when you want to contact them. And you can change the status to prospect, toured, applied, wait list, enrolled, active. And then once they are not in your program, no, I don't want to. You can deactivate them, have them be graduated, like label it how you want to label it. And then this is where you can also put your admissions packet, making that paperwork paperless, all electronic, and create it how you want to create it. And that will take me into the paperwork tab, where you can create your own documents, or you can put in documents you've already created and make them PDFs. Kind of like Crystal had shared through Playground, Brightwheel has some forms that are fillable already on here, even a child enrollment form, consent and release, safe sleep policy that parents can sign, that you can, I'll click on one. So they can fill this out like a PDF. Easy peasy. And there's also shared files where you can upload things and leave it here. And then the last tab is reporting. There are a lot of different reports already ready. The most important ones are that subsidy attendance. That's how you do your CCA, how you submit it. And then there's billing, enrollment. CACFP is not integrated, but it would do a meal count for you. You could print the form and it will tell you how many meals each child had. It's a good record for that. And then staffing, students, all of those reports. And it does also have custom reports, so you can kind of make your own. Pull up the information that you want to pull up. I think that's it without going into the nitty-gritties of all of it.
Great. Thank you, Mindy. Lots of good questions in the chat. So just kind of highlight some of the payroll questions that were just on. So we didn't necessarily say, but Playground does have a platform that you can use payroll. It is an additional cost to what is the state of Iowa is covering right now with that, but they have a full playground system that takes care of your taxes and does the whole shebang, where Brightwheel is integrated with Gusto and they do the whole shebang over there. So that was one thing that I thought I would pop on and say.
Can I ask a clarifying question there? You
Sure.
said Brightwheel is integrated with Gusto. Is Brightwheel integrated with QuickBooks too, or just Gusto?
Nope. Yep. You can also
Okay.
integrate with QuickBooks. Yep. Fully compatible. Mm-hmm. Good question. Both platforms do have a few additional things that you can sign up for that aren't part of the premium package that you receive with the state of Iowa subscription. Playground offers some support when it comes to some extra data with wait lists and things like that. Also, will support in creating a website for you. Brightwheel has some additional curriculum items that you can purchase with that piece of it, but that is not part of the program. So there are additional things that both platforms do offer, but just to be clear, sometimes those questions pop up. Any other questions before we get into kind of just how we apply if you're interested? So if you're interested, we'll put a link into the chat for our program. Basically, it's an online application that you can fill out. Even our program is automated a little bit with that piece of it, filling out an application for your program. At this point, you could choose if you want to. So if you know what management system you want, you can choose that. Otherwise, on our website, we do have both links for Playground and Brightwheel to do a demo with both. You can either sign up ahead of time and then go do the demos, or you can do a demo ahead of time, a little bit more in depth, one-on-one than what our coaches gave, but similar type information with that. We encourage you to check out both programs if you're unsure. If you're currently using a management system now, a different management system, and interested, not sure if you want to switch, we kind of say, it's worth the investigation of that. There's no rules that say you have to quit what you're doing right now to kind of check this piece out, besides working with us and kind of, checking that piece out. If you're ready to switch and using a different management system, both systems will take that information that you have in that system and be able to help you integrate that into your new system. But the link to sign up is in the chat. If you would like more information or one-on-one kind of conversation with one of our coaches, you can email us at fmc@Mid-Sioux, which Tiffany just put in the chat, and we can get you connected with that. Or if you want to, you want to do that right now, pop in your name and county that you're in, and we'll get you connected with a coach today. So I know that was a lot of information in all kinds of ways for you for this, but we really appreciate you guys joining and taking the time to listen. But yeah, if there are any other questions, we'd be more than happy to answer them or direct you that way. And if not, that's okay. I know it's a crazy time, 1:00, everybody's busy trying to do their day. So we appreciate you taking your time to pop on with us. Perfect, Jennifer. Okay. You want to, let's see, Amanda, do you want to? grab that?
Jennifer, I think you and I have maybe emailed a little bit. So I'll email you again
Yep, we'll have
from
Jennifer
Jenna.
with you and Michelle in Iowa County. Matt, we can definitely have Maddie. Maddie, would you like to connect with Michelle?
Yes, that sounds great, Michelle. If you want to drop your email in the chat, I can definitely connect with you.
Fantastic. Great. Thanks, Michelle. Any other questions or thoughts that we want to make sure that we forgot about? Other coaches on the call, if there was something that we forgot to mention? Fantastic. Well, thank you guys. And we look forward to the connection that we made. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out. fmc@midsioux.org. We can answer all of those questions for you. So thanks for popping on today.
Thanks, everyone.